Welcome to Cord Cutting Today for July 22nd, 2019. This is the show where I give you a quick look at some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now and give you my opinion on them. If you want to learn more about these stories, come up with your own opinions, I'll put a link to each story down in the show notes down below so you can read about them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you are new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It helps us a lot because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, before we get into it, big news, 100th episode of Cord Cutting Today. And I wanted to announce that we hit 80,000 today, but we actually hit 81,000. We hit 80,000 over the weekend. I was going to hold off, announce it today. Between now and then, we hit 81,000. So a huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Unbelievably appreciated. If I did the math right, using the average cord cutting savings, this works out to over $82 million saved from the 81,000 people here on our YouTube channel alone, not counting the millions of people who read cordcuttersnews.com every month. So a huge thank you to everybody for your support. Huge thank you to everyone who joined over the weekend and pushed us over 81,000. I really do appreciate that. Hopefully we're helping you save some of that $82 million every year. That's, instead of going to Comcast and Spectrum, AT&T, etc., it can now be spent on other areas of the economy. Be reinvested. Hopefully some in your pocket, help you pay off some bills, maybe go get some groceries or wherever. Let me know, how do you use your cord cutting savings? After quite a few years, we saved up a bunch of money. We went to Disney World with my daughter. That was a huge fun trip, and it worked out to be what we would have spent on Comcast or Spectrum or all these other services. So let me know what you did to save or did with your cord cutting savings. All right, let's jump into the news because a lot happened this week. If you're looking for a particular story real quick, take a look at that show notes down below. That list of stories is in order I talk about them. So if you want to jump forward to a particular story, use that for a reference of where to go in the video. All right, for the deal of the day, Amazon has their certified refurbished Fire TV Sticks 4Ks on sale for $24.99. This is a really good deal. I have bought quite a few devices from Amazon refurbished over the years, and I've been very happy with them. Of course, it comes with Amazon's guarantee behind them and Amazon customer service, so you can feel like you're buying with confidence. But honestly, the certified refurbished devices, if it wasn't for the packaging, you probably wouldn't know it was any different than an original Fire TV brand new. So check that out. Many times these get returned for many reasons. One of the most common ones is people just decided they didn't want it anymore. They bought it, said never mind, and returned it. And Amazon takes these, refurbishes them to be like new, and then sells them at a deep discount. So check that out. Good deal right there. The other news of the weekend that was some of the biggest news from the past week was the fact that there was a lot of blackout warnings. DIRECTV Now lost CBS. Dish had a scare with FX, National Geographic, and the Fox Regional Sports Networks. That would have also gone dark on Sling TV. So let's kind of break down what all happened here and what you need to know. Over the weekend, DIRECTV lost CBS-owned locals. This includes all CBS locals on DIRECTV Now. The reason for that is CBS has the representation for the local affiliates negotiated into their contract. So when CBS's contract ends, all the local CBS stations for DIRECTV Now end. Now DIRECTV still has that separate deal where like Nexstar and Meredith and all these other negotiate with DIRECTV and do that. Now there's still negotiations to work. It's a very complicated story. But according to AT&T, the reason why DIRECTV Now lost all their CBS locals was that CBS had the parent big master agreement there. And from my understanding, how it works is CBS struck a deal that then for streaming of locals, of CBS-owned locals, that Nexstar and Sinclair and everybody else owns. And then Nexstar and Sinclair can decide to jump on that or not and honor it or not, from my understanding. But I don't have the contract. That's just how it was explained to me. So the tough news is if you have DIRECTV Now, you lost CBS Sports, you lost CBS through it. Now, DIRECTV is offering $5 or $10 credits, and I even had a few people say they got a $15 credit for sticking with DIRECTV because of the blackout. To get these credits, you needed to contact DIRECTV customer support through their chat and they were giving you credits. Now, I've started here as of this morning, 2 people told me they were rejected for a credit. Other people this morning told me they got the credit. So it's very possible that maybe AT&T's catching on that a lot of these people are now asking for the credits because word got out that they were giving them out. So they're cutting back on it. But if you haven't got the credit, you have DIRECTV now, it wouldn't take long just to hop on chat with their customer service, ask them for a credit. I don't know how they're deciding what credit level to get. Why are some people getting $5, other people $10, and even a couple now saying $15 to stick with DIRECTV? I don't know. It could be one of those things where if you asked for it in the past, maybe something else, they're not willing to give it to you again. I don't know. Love to hear from you. If you're a DIRECTV Now customer, did you get the credit? Leave me a comment down below and let us know. All right, the other blackout was Sling TV, and that was supposed to happen this morning. They were supposed to have lost FX, National Geographic, and the Fox Regional Sports Networks on Sling TV. Now, it has been reported that they have reached a temporary agreement for these networks so that talks can continue between Dish, the parent company of Sling TV, Disney, who technically owns all this content right now, and this independent group representing the Fox Regional Sports Networks that's negotiating for them as they are being sold to Sinclair. So this is a rather messy, complicated situation. Fox Regional Sports Networks are currently owned by Disney but are being sold to Sinclair. So there's kind of 3 different parties all negotiating on these. Disney, because they currently own it, have an independent group of people negotiating on their behalf. Sinclair is definitely probably giving their voice in this situation because they will soon own it once everything's approved. And then there's Dish. It's been reported that Disney wants a short-term deal, and then that would allow Sinclair to negotiate later. Dish wants this to be part of a bigger long-term package there. There's really, when it comes down to it, there's really 2 issues, and they all really come down to cord cutting. Number 1, you know, Dish has less customers. AT&T has less customers. That means they have less money coming in every month. And of the customers they do have, increasingly a large number of these customers are paying for cheaper, lower-end packages versus the higher-end ones. You then flip this around and you have things like Disney now saying, hey, we're getting less money because there's fewer subscribers in our, even though the amount of money we're getting per subscriber is the same, there's less of it. So we want that cost per subscriber to go up so we get the same amount of money or more. This is creating back and forth. And it's honestly going to make these blackouts more common going forward because it is the reality that these negotiations are putting 2 people in a bad spot. Dish is saying, hey, we're making less money. AT&T is saying, hey, we're making less money on these packages, on these customers, and we have fewer of them. And Disney and CBS and all the other places are saying, hey, we're making less money. We wanted money. A lot of these TV stations, even locals, became highly dependent on the revenue from these carrier deals. Even PBS, a big chunk of their revenue comes from deals from cable companies and more. So as that money drops, as cord cutting grows, you can look for these negotiations to get more heated because somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. This isn't like in the past where it was like, hey, we have more subscribers, they're paying for higher packages, so we can give AT&T a little bit more, or we can give Disney a little bit more money. Now it's like, hey, Disney's getting less, AT&T and Dish are getting less, and both of them want more money. Dish and AT&T don't want to give as big of a price hike because that means they'll have to raise their price, and they don't want to do that on their existing customers and push more of them away. Disney's like, hey, we depend on that money, we need it. So I'd love to know, who do you think is going to win this argument? Who do you think should win this argument? Do you think it's Dish and AT&T trying to keep their prices down, trying to be like, hey, we're not just going to pay for anything? Or do you think it's Disney and CBS and more saying, hey, we want to get more money from these deals? So let me know. I'll love to hear from you. All right, so next story up of the day. As cord cutting grows, piracy is becoming harder to identify. This is a topic I wanted to cover. I wrote an editorial about this over at CordCarsNews.com. But the reason I wanted to cover this real quick, and I highly encourage you to read the editorial we posted, is that we're getting an increasingly large number of people emailing us about services that sound too good to be true, and they want to know if they are true. In the past, piracy was very straightforward, right? You had like Kazaa and BitTorrent, and typically the websites doing it definitely didn't look legit. Now we're seeing a growth of a number of streaming services who push the fact that they are legit, but but they're really not. Many of them will say, hey, we're a US-based customer, we offer customer service, there's a fee. Look, you're paying for this. It can't be piracy if you're paying, right? Well, what the reality is they take the money, but then they never turn around and pass on royalty fees to the people who own the content, and they did it without permission of the people who own the content. CCT TV was one of the first very successful companies, I think, to do this. They got sued last year, and Dish won a $90 million judgment. There's still a lawsuit targeting them from other content companies too. So my main warning here is if it sounds too good to be true, it really probably is. Now, there are legitimate streaming services out there, but you need to do your research a little bit more in depth. Just because you're paying for it, just because they say they're legitimate, does not necessarily mean they are legitimate. So keep that in mind. Just because somebody says they are, they're not always. Just because they look legitimate, it's very easy to have a very legitimate looking website nowadays. So keep that in mind. So I'd love to know your stories. Have you ever thought you may have been tricked into paying for something that wasn't legal when you thought it was? Let me know. You know, the content companies have made it very clear, shutting down these services is a main goal of theirs, and they are working very hard to make examples of services like CCT TV, and in order to try to scare new ones from launching, and to chase down any of them and all of them that they can get their hands on. So keep your eyes out for these going forward. All right, next story up of the day. The Orville will now be a Hulu exclusive. So getting kind of a picture of Disney's future objectives with their Fox-owned content. The Orville, which aired on Fox for the first 2 seasons, is moving to be a Hulu exclusive next year. Part of this comes down to the fact that the cast, with some of the time constraints and more, they said they weren't quite able to meet what Fox wanted, and Disney said that it may be a better fit for them to go to Hulu. I'll be very interested to see if Disney takes any more of the Fox content and moves it from Fox over to Hulu now that they own it and they own full control of Hulu. Comcast still has a partial ownership of Hulu for now, but they've signed over control of the board to Disney as part of a bigger deal. So I'd love to know, are you an Orville fan? What do you think of it becoming a Hulu exclusive? What do you think about more and more Disney-owned content becoming streaming exclusives to places like Hulu? Let me know. All right, so last set of stories of the day is right now AT&T's new TV service. So I had a lot of questions last week because there was some news related to AT&T's new TV service that was kind of leaked, reportedly to launch next month. It's going to be called AT&T TV. It's going to be streaming. It's going to require a set-top box, which is that one that's being tested by DIRECTV customers right now. It will look like DIRECTV Now, but it'll be a separate service. A lot of people are like, Luke, what is this? I don't understand. So we sat down and we broke out everything we do know, which is not necessarily a lot right now. There is definitely a lot of information that we don't know about it, but a few things we've learned. AT&T trademarked AT&T TV in 2018. According to reports from people who reportedly work for AT&T, the service will soft launch in August with a national launch at the end of this year. When it launches in markets, Uverse TV will stop being sold. If you're a Uverse TV customer, you will continue to be able to use it, but they're not going to be taking new Uverse customers. They're going to want you to get AT&T TV instead, which is correlated with a lot of news we've heard over the recent years. And from our word, it would be a thin version of DIRECTV, probably with a contract. We don't know that. That's speculation right now. And you'll basically walk into an AT&T store, pick up their Android-powered streaming player, take it home, plug it in, and that's your new TV cable box. So much more of a cable-like experience on this, targeting DIRECTV customers with it. So I'd love to hear what you think of AT&T TV. Read the notes down below. There's one other news story here that was announced last week that kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit on us. AT&T and Netflix have agreed to bring Netflix to the new DIRECTV Now / AT&T TV set-top box. With this deal, this means that your AT&T set-top box, this new Android TV box, will be able to give you Hulu, Netflix, a wide range of apps, and Amazon once it launches their app on Android TV. For now, you have to use the Chromecast feature built into your Android TV box to cast. But you'll be able to basically make this your streaming player and your AT&T Live TV service. It will boot into the AT&T TV or DIRECTV Now, just like a cable box would, but then you will still be able to access Android TV in it and get all of your movies and TV shows. So I'd love to hear from you. What do you think of this plan of AT&T's to bring a cable-like experience to streaming? Do you consider this cord cutting? To me, if it has a contract, I would not consider it cord cutting. If it doesn't, it may be one more cord cutting option. One more AT&T streaming service to add to the growing list of different competing. Let's be honest, many of these services are starting to compete against each other. DIRECTV, Uverse, DIRECTV Now, AT&T Watch TV, and now AT&T TV, all offering live TV streaming or live TV period, competing against each other. So I'd love to know what you think. If you had questions about it, check out the show notes down below for the AT&T TV breakdown and let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear from you. All right, everybody, that is it for today. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you think of all of our stories. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. If you've been here a while, ring the notification bell because we have more videos on the way. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day, everybody.